The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way which can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great honor and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus tongue. Attachment to his lotus feet is essential and fills all existence. He opens my darkness eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. From him, Krishna Premarupa. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of the lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. Take shelter of the lotus feet. To the Baba Krishna Premarupa Dasa. Krishna's joy.
Jayo Radha
Chayorata Madhava Kunja Vihari Chayorata Madhava Kunja Vihari Chayorata Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayaudiraya Nashta Prayeshu Apadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtikir. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 19. Namayanasite bhunkte Namayanasite nashite bhunkte Nasnate snati matpara Nasnate snati matpara Mai rushte sushamtrashta Mai rushte susantrashta Partsite yatavak bhayat Partsite yatavak bhayat Namayana nashite punkte Nashnati snati matpara Mai rushte sushantrashta Partsite yatavakpayat
Namayana shite punkte
Namayana shite punkte
Nasnate snati matpara
Nashnate snati matpara
Mairushte susantrasta
Mairuste susantrashta
Partsite yatavakpayat
Partsite yatavakpayat
Namaya anaste punkte
Namayana site punkte
Snate snati matpara
Nashnate snati matpara
Maya ruste susantrasta
Mairushte susantrashta
Ahaste yatavakpayat
Parchite yatavakpayat Vaishnavis
Namayana shite punkte
Namaya shite punkte
Nasnate snati matpara
Nasnate snati matpara
Mairushte susantrashta
Mairushte susantrashta
Partsite yatavakpayat
Partsite yatavakpayat
Namayana shite punkte Nashnate snati matpara Mairuste susantrashta Partsite yatavakpayat Na never Mai when I Anashite had not eaten Punkte she would eat Na never Ashnati had not taken bath Snati she would take her bath Matpara always devoted to me Mai when I Rushte was angry Susantrasta very much frightened Bartsite when I chastised Yatavak fully controlled of words Bhayat out of fear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. King Puranjana then began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take her dinner until he had finished his, that she would not take her bath until he had finished his, and that she was always very much attached to him, so much so that if he would sometimes become angry and chastise her, she would simply remain silent and tolerate his misbehavior. So, short purport. A wife is always supposed to be submissive to her husband. Submission, mild behavior, and subservience are qualities in a wife which make a husband very thoughtful of her. For family life, it is very good for a husband to be attached to his wife, but it's not very good for spiritual advancement. Thus, Krishna consciousness must be established in every home. If a husband and a wife are very much attached to one another in Krishna consciousness, they will both benefit because Krishna is the center of their existence. Otherwise, if the husband is too much attached to his wife, he becomes a woman in his next life. The woman being overly attached to her husband becomes a man in her next life. Of course, it is an advantage for a woman to become a man, but it's not at all advantageous for a man to become a woman. That's Prabhupada's purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurovi Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Paditanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtyatya Shatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. King Puranjan then began to think of his past dealings with his wife. He recalled that his wife would not take her dinner until he had finished his, that she would not take her bath until he had finished his, and that she was always very much attached to him, so much so that if he would sometimes become angry and chastise her, she would simply remain silent and tolerate his misbehavior. Okay, so now we are in this chapter 28, which describes how Puranjana becomes a woman in his next life, and this is now the description how it all happened. That Puranjana was, about to die, about to give up his body, and becoming aware that he will leave. What did he do? He started to think about his wife. That how my wife will be alone when I leave, and how she will take care, and how what will happen to her. So. And that's very natural, because where there is the attachment, then the attention, the mind will go there. And Prabhupada says that for family life this is very good, but for spiritual life this is not so good. But the solution is, if both man and woman are Krishna conscious, and they see each other as Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and Krishna is in the center, then that's very good. And I won't go too much into the detail of this, because that's not exactly my field of expertise as a brahmachari. But we understand that for a householder, it's recommended to understand that his house actually does not belong to him, but it's the house of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada often emphasized that deity worship is most essential for householders. Every householder should have an altar at home, establish Krishna there, whether it's in pictures or murti, but there should be worship of Krishna in the house, and that will help that the householder can meditate, this house belongs to Krishna, this is Krishna's house. If I work, the money that I earn, I use in the service of Krishna. And then also, my family members, my wife and my children, they are all Krishna's servants, and I'm simply like the temple commander or something like that, or the temple president, like taking care of the servants in the house. It's not my wife, it's not my children, but it's Krishna's children, it's Krishna's servants, and I'm simply a caretaker. It's a big responsibility. I'm taking care. This woman has taken shelter of me. Women need protection, and as a man, I take care of this woman. Because if a woman has children, she is this is a full-time job. To be a mother is a full-time job. You can't work at the same time and earn money. So that's the job of the husband. The husband works, brings money, protects, takes care, and the wife takes care of the children. So in that understanding, the husband sees her family member as that he's taking care of them, but in the understanding that they belong to Krishna. And in this understanding, then Krishna is always in the center, and also the wife, of course, sees the husband also as a servant of Krishna, and also as someone who is be sent by Krishna to help her. And I think there is a story with, was it Krishna Premarupa Babaji, who could see that in a devotee, that the devotee was just newly married, and he didn't have the proper consciousness. He was thinking that this is my wife, and she's meant for my enjoyment. So Krishna Premarupa Babaji gave him the instruction: every morning when you get up, first you should pay obeisances to your wife. No, I don't know, 7-10 times you pay obeisances to your wife. And then you should take the remnants of your wife's food also. And in this way, you maintain a good consciousness that your wife is a Vaishnavi. She's a great, servant of Lord Krishna, and she's very worshipable and respectable because she serves Krishna. So you should respect her in that way. And she's not meant for your enjoyment. That's not the idea. So that's the Krishna conscious approach to family life. Very much different from ordinary. So that's what Prabhupada says here. If a husband and a wife are very much attached to one another in Krishna conscious, they will both benefit because Krishna is the center of their existence. So they are attached to each other. Of course, they are attached to the other also on an emotional level and with affection and love, but the consciousness is attachment to each other as Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. And that can be very powerful in the sense that they both help each other to progress in spiritual life. Now, but the general principle that we learned from this section is that attachment, wherever there is the attachment, then the mind will go there, and the time of death, as we learn from Krishna in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that wherever our consciousness will go, then that we will attain, and that's why we should try to remember Krishna. If you remember Krishna, then we will go to Krishna. And if you remember a deer, as Bharat Maharaj did, you become a deer. If you remember your wife, you become a wife. If you remember your husband, you become a man. And that's actually what usually takes place. Mostly men become women and women become men. So you got a man's body, most probably you were a woman in your last life. You're a woman, most probably you were a man in your last life. It's usually like that. Of course, not always, but especially for the conditioned soul, for those who are spiritually advanced, then maybe it might be a little different. But especially for those very much conditioned and attached, that's usually how it works. But the advice is we should become attached to Krishna, because Krishna, he has Satchitananda Vigraha, he has an eternal, transcendental, spiritual form. So if we remember his form, then we may also attain a spiritual form. That's the whole idea. That remembering Krishna, we will get a spirit ourselves. We can revive our eternal spiritual form or spiritual body. But is it easy to develop attachment to Krishna? Not so easy. I mean, somewhere we could say yes, because Krishna is so wonderful. Krishna is so beautiful. We have beautiful murtis on the altar. You can hear Krishna Katha, and in this way we can fall in love with Krishna by simply hearing about Krishna, serving Krishna, seeing the Lord on the altar, so we can develop that affection and love for Krishna. That's the whole process of devotional service. But yes, it's not so easy, because in some way, the whole idea of Krishna still remains a bit abstract concept. No. Right? I mean, unless you dream every night from Krishna and have vision and experience Krishna every day. But that's usually not the case. So what's the solution?
The main thing is hearing.
Hearing, yes, okay, we should hear. That's very important. That's why there is so much stress on Shravanam. Because how can you love someone that you don't know. It's practically not possible. If you fall in love with someone, it's because you become very much fascinated by the person. You see the person, you hear the person, you interact with the person, and the more you interact, the more you become attached, because you see all the beautiful qualities. But if you don't know Krishna, you don't know anything about him, how will you fall in love? So hearing, it's very important. Yeah. Serving Krishna, yeah, doing practical service. But still, from whom do we hear about Krishna? Or who can actually talk about Krishna? Yes, Shri Guru. That's why it says in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha guru tasyaita kahita hi artha prakashante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Now that's an indication that those who have implicit faith in both Guru and Krishna, to those person all the knowledge will be revealed. That means we have to develop attachment simultaneously to Krishna and Guru. It's basically not possible to just develop attachment like that, just to Krishna. Maybe in very, very rare cases where you already had a spiritual master in your previous lives and you were already very much advanced, and in this life, you might just naturally have that attachment. That might be possible. But in general, but that means in previous life you got a guru. So basically we can say that without connection with Guru, you cannot develop attachment to Krishna, because we are conditioned soul, fallen in Maya. We don't know about Krishna, and it's Shri Guru who awakes our consciousness and helps us to remember Krishna. So Acharya means one who brings the message of Vaikuntha to us. He is Krishna Parshad. Krishna Parshad means, or Hari Parshad means an associate of Krishna. If we completely surrender unto him and get his mercy, then we will be able to understand his message. So by surrendering, or by taking shelter at the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, we will be able to get his message. And the point is here, this is from a lecture of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj in Seattle in 93. Maharaj went to America. And he says, only one who has come from Vaikuntha can speak about Vaikuntha. It's a very it's a very it makes sense, only one who has come from Vaikuntha can speak about Vaikuntha, because he has seen it, Only one who has come from Vancouver, who resides in Vancouver, can give you information about Vancouver. Maharaj takes a similar city, Vaikuntha, Vancouver. Although it's a big difference, of course. So who else other than one who has come from Vaikuntha can give you the message of Vaikuntha? The Acharyas have said this. Such a person can deliver the pure message with nothing mixed, because he has come from that kingdom. That is Acharya. And that's why Krishna says, Acharya mam vijanayan, that such a guru, Acharya, is good as myself. To think of Satguru as an ordinary human being is an inexhaustible or a great offense. So, yes, in order to become attached to Krishna, we have to hear about Krishna, because by hearing Krishna Katha, by hearing these wonderful pastimes of Krishna, and by hearing about the qualities and character of Krishna, we become attached to him, like the other. A couple of weeks ago we had His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Goswami with us. We're very fortunate. Maharaj spoke beautiful Krishna Katha, right? And then if you have such a personality who has such realizations, and you can see he has such connection to Krishna and such taste, then speaking Krishna Katha and listening such Katha, it's very powerful. Something really happens in the heart. Right? You can really, such a guru can transmit or give us that same attachment. But such a guru, he should be a bona fide representative of Krishna. And of course, Prabhupada explains, like here we hear about, these statements are like, this is about the absolute platform, that such a guru who is a bona fide representative of Krishna has come down from Krishna's abode. And Prabhupada explains that generally the guru actually comes from these liberated souls, generally. And we see in our parampara the great personalities that mostly of them we know their swarup from the spiritual world. They actually have come, they're nityasiddhas, they come here to help us. But then Prabhupada says, but someone who might be not as perfect, but who follows in the footsteps of such a perfect person and delivers the message as it is, he also is perfect. So that Prabhupada established that clearly, that also a Madhyamadikari actually can act as a guru if he is very loyal to the parampara. And he can also deliver that same message. And then there's a beautiful description here. There is a Prema Bhakti Sutra. What is a Prema Bhakti Sutra? What is a sutra? A sutra is a rope or a thread. So one end of the Prema Bhakti Sutra is attached to the lotus feet of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. And the Guru has come with the other end of that rope here to the material world. So Krishna stands there, plays his flute at the bank of the Yamuna, and there is a rope on his feet. And the Guru has taken that rope and come in the material world. That's the picture. So the Guru has come with the other end of that rope here. The conditioned souls follow in the deep dark well of material existence are suffering. Such a Guru is outside of the well. That's a qualification of the Guru. No, Guru is not inside the well, he's outside. No, he's free himself. He is not under the grip of Maya. So he must have, transcended the three gunas. He's not anymore under the influence of the gunas, but he's directly acting under the direction of Paramatma, the super soul. That's basically what a sadhu makes. Like an ordinary person is fully under the control of the gunas, and his thinking, his feeling, his acting, his speaking is all basically influenced by the gunas, and it's like a computer program going on. Person doesn't have much freedom. He's kind of, the more sattva guna, the more freedom is there, but basically we are under that spell of the gunas. But a sadhu is one who is beyond that spell, and he is Davi Prakriti Ashrita. He has taken shelter of the internal energy of Krishna. That's why he's prompted from the Ladini Shakti, or the internal energy, and it's Paramatma directly, or you could also say Radharani actually, that prompts him how to act, how to serve Krishna. So he's outside the well. So that Guru, he throws his end of the rope to that conditioned soul in the dark well of material existence and says, clasp it, catch it very tightly. Then he pulls the soul up. This is the process. The Guru does this. It is not an easy affair to deliver even one conditioned soul from the fort of Maya. The Guru has to spend gallons and gallons of spiritual blood to deliver just one soul. It is a heavy responsibility. Even if one conditioned soul is delivered, the Guru feels much happiness. But the point is, the Guru throws that rope and asks us to hold the rope, and then Guru pulls us out. So the Guru's job is to pull us out, and he's doing that expertly. But our job is to hold that rope, and that's very often fail. What is the rope stands for? Holding the rope stands for what?
Sadhana.
Sadhana, yes, and following the instruction of a guru. As long we hold the rope, as long we follow the instruction, and a guru pulls us out. But at that moment, we don't follow the instruction. No, we let the rope go, and then we cannot get out. So in that sense, it's very simple. We just have to hold the rope, and then we don't have to do anything else. Guru will take us out. Once someone was asking a spiritual master, or asking some sadhu actually, the person had a different guru, but he asked a sadhu, I'm not sure whether I can make it, this lifetime, if I can go back to Godhead, I have so many attachments. And that sadhu said, this is not your business, this is your guru's business. You don't have to think about whether am I qualified, can I ever get back to the spiritual world, will I make it in this, that's not my business. Guru has promised that he will deliver you. Your business is to simply follow the instruction. That's your only business. If you follow the instruction of Guru, he will take you out. If you follow the instruction. But if you don't follow the instruction, and of course following the instruction means chanting 16 rounds without offenses, pure name, it means something to follow the instruction of Guru, really. So, but that's what is required. So we have to establish our relationship to Sri Guru. That's the important thing, because it's not so easy to directly fall in love or develop attachment to Krishna, but it's much easier to develop attachment to Guru. And how is it that we develop attachment to Guru? And I think we all have made this experience, because these personalities, they are such wonderful person, and you just realize, like in their association, I just feel sheltered, I just feel spiritually uplifted, and I just feel Krishna's presence. And that's basically what Guru makes, like what is so special about sadhus. And in the last couple of weeks we have quoted this shloka often. Bhavat vida bhagavata tirtha bhuta svayam vibhuhu tirti kurvanti tirthani svantastena gadabritaha. My Lord, this is Yudhishthira speaking to Vidur. My dear Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. We spoke about this shloka in regards to Prabhupada's 50-year anniversary of Prabhupada's visit. That wherever a sadhu goes, these places actually become places of pilgrimage. Prabhupada came to Zurich, so Zurich town is actually a tirtha. So, but the significant point here is that tirti kurvanti tirtani, that sadhus, gurus, they are holy places personified. Why? Because svantastena gadabridaha, because the Lord, they carry the Lord in the heart. And of course we can say, we also carry the Lord in the heart, right? Paramatma is there in every living entity. Paramatma is also there in the insect, and in a cockroach, or in a dog. But in the association with a dog, I don't feel Krishna's presence as much as in the association of a sadhu. Why? Because that the Lord in the heart, because the person has given up his false ego so much that he has become a transparent medium, so that Krishna actually becomes very manifest through him, through that person. So all the good qualities are manifested in such a person, and then actually Krishna's presence becomes like perceivable, or you can experience the presence of Krishna through such a person, through the sadhu. And that makes the sadhu so amazing. And that's why we hanker for the association with sadhus, because we can feel Krishna's presence is there. And I think I mentioned this. Purichan Prabhu once told this story, that Purichan was preaching was it in Japan or China? And for many years he was preaching there. And there they didn't have deity worship in the temples, they just had some yoga center. Jai Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Gaunita ki jai. So Bodhichan Prabhu, for the first couple of years of his Krishna consciousness, although he was second initiated, he did not experience deity worship, because he was in an atmosphere where they had preaching centers without regular worship. But he had a regular association with Prabhupada. Prabhupada visited several times, and he had a lot of actually personal association with Prabhupada. And when he was with Prabhupada, he always felt this, an amazing atmosphere and environment being in the association with Prabhupada. And then some time later, when he came back to America, I believe, then he was allowed to go on the altar, and he did some altar service. And while on the altar, he said, "Oh, wait a minute. I know this feeling. I know this feeling. Where do I know this feeling from? Whenever I was with Prabhupada, I felt the same way." Well, that's an amazing, example. Like for those who have served as pujaris, even if you go close to the altar, you can feel that the Lord is present here. But if you actually are on the altar and you're actually dressing the Lord, washing the Lord's face, and you're putting the Lord into his bed, you offer food, you offer arti. These are very, it's a personal service, and then you can feel there is a reciprocation, there is an interaction with the deities, and you can feel the Lord's presence. And Bodhichan felt that the presence of Lord Jagannath on the altar felt similar to the experience that he had with Prabhupada, because in Prabhupada's presence the Lord also becomes manifest. That's the idea of this tirtha kurvanti tirthani, that Krishna is manifested. So therefore we are looking for this sadhu sangha, this is association, and many devotees have this experience with Srila Prabhupada, how they met Prabhupada only briefly. There's so many examples of people, they just saw how Prabhupada taking a cup of water and then drinking the water. And just the way that Prabhupada drank the water, they were like, wow, he's such an amazing person. So whatever Prabhupada did, seemingly very ordinary things, but it was amazing. Everything was amazing about Prabhupada. And I have to remember this. Once there was a Ratha Yatra, and then devotees were waiting, doing kirtan. Prabhupada's arrival. Prabhupada arrived, came out of the car, and walked towards the Ratha. And there was some police officer, New York police officer, like a black guy, like quite a strong person. And he was meant to, block the street or make sure that there is security for the parade. And then he was, when he saw Prabhupada, he was calling out, "The man is shining! He's shining! He's shining!" It was completely. Somehow he could perceive that there was some special aura around Prabhupada. He was an ordinary police officer. He was not a spiritual person. But Prabhupada had just such a shakti, such an aura, that even ordinary people could realize that this is not an ordinary person. This is special. Something special. So, and how do we develop attachment to such sadhus? Yes, of course, just to be in their association, that makes something. But what else can we do to deepen our relationship to such sadhus? What would you say?
What service I can do?
To ask, yes, and then to actually also do such service, right? To perform service, and that's also confirmed in Shastra. Shushrushro shadadhanasya vasudeva katarujihi syan mahat sevaya vipra punya tirthani shevanat. This is 1-2-16. Sutta Goswami speaks to the sages of Naimisharanya. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vices, great service is done. By such service, what will one get? What is the result of such Mahat Sevaya? Kata Vasudeva Kata Ruchihi. One gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Vasudeva Kataruchi. That's amazing. By serving sadhus, as a result, as a blessing or as a benediction, we develop more taste in hearing Krishna Katha. That means in order to properly absorb hearing about Krishna, so that Krishna Katha, that hearing about Krishna actually can give the proper result, we need to simultaneously serve the great devotees. And that's Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We say Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day we should serve the Bhagavatam. But then there is two kinds of Bhagavat. There is the book Bhagavat and there is the person. The Grantha Bhagavat and the Bhakta Bhagavat. Right? So now we are serving the Grantha Bhagavat. Here is the book. Nowadays we do everything with our iPad and electronic devices. But this is the Bhagavat. Now we serve the Bhagavat, the book, the Grantha Bhagavat. Of course, it's the sound vibration that we serve, whether it's digital or paper. It's the sound vibration, the transcendental, the Shabda Brahman, the transcendental sound that we speak and hear, and this is how we serve the Bhagavat. But then also we serve the Bhakta Bhagavat, we serve the devotees, the great devotees. And Bhakta Bhagavat are those who live according to the scripture. They have basically absorbed the knowledge, the wisdom of the book, and they also live accordingly. They give a perfect example how to live and practice Krishna consciousness. And such a person we should serve. And by serving, when we serve such a person, then we develop attachment, we develop more attachment to the person also. And I think we all, those who have accepted the Guru already, and even those who have not accepted, if we serve Prabhupada, if we serve Prabhupada's mission, we can also get that experience. But in my life, I personally had an experience. In 2004, my Guru Maharaj had His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, who got the instruction of Prabhupada to serve or to preach to the scientific-minded people. He organized a great big conference in Rome, inviting about 250 Nobel laureates and professors and scientists, and talk about life comes from life. How actually life is not coming from matter, but actually comes from life. And having a dialogue with scientists and spiritual leaders. And my Guru Maharaj then somehow he visited in the beginning of the year of that conference, visited Zurich, and one of my god brothers kind of told to my Guru Maharaj that I'm actually a chef by profession, that I'm a learned chef, a cook. And when Guru Maharaj heard this, he immediately called me into his room, and I went there, I paid my obeisances, he looked at me, I want you to become the head cook of my conference in Rome. And I was looking at him, and I don't know, this is some time ago, I was a young brahmachari, and I looked at him, what? Oh, Guru Maharaj, I'm not qualified. No, I want you to cook. You're the head cook for the conference. It was clear, I couldn't argue. Okay, yes, Guru Maharaj. And I was like, why me? There's many senior gods, brothers and sisters that I have in Italy also, and the Italians, they're known for their good cuisine. I'm sure there's many devotees qualified to cook a nice feast in Italy, for Guru Maharaj. But somehow he had, he's professional, so we need professionals, so he should cook. And then I actually, together with Gopal Kripal and some devotees, that time from Bern, now Langenthal, we like a team of about 6-7 devotees from Switzerland, and we went to Rome, and for 4 days we were cooking. It was quite a challenge. 250 people, and these were all professors, and we faced a lot of challenges. We went there, and this was like a kind of, not a nightclub, but it was kind of a bar, like a hall, but and then a small kitchen. It was somehow they rented this place, and the kitchen was not really equipped for cooking for so many people. And then, for example, they had one of the dessert. There was homemade ice cream from some devotees that we could use. So they were about to deliver the ice cream, but then when we looked, the deep freezer was filled with other stuff. There was no place to put it. So how to solve that? And then we had in the menu we had a soup, but there were not enough bowls. So how to solve that? Then then there was some water tap was broken or not working. We had to ask someone to fix it. And then it was time for cooking. The vegetable was not cut. People were not there to cut it. And, there was a lot of stress, a lot of tension. But somehow we made it. We cooked the feast, 3 days. Cooked the feast. And Guru Maharaj was very kind. He came once during the days. He came to the kitchen, and he told to us. And of course, this is Guru. He's very expert in encouraging his disciple. He said, we have 3 days conference. We are talking so much, talking. But actually, the most important thing is that all these people get Mahaprasad from Lord Krishna. So your service is the most important service. Of course, we felt like, and then, after the conference, Guru Maharaj was very pleased. And I remember the same year, Guru Maharaj again came to Switzerland the 3rd time. That year was very blessed. We had his Vyasa Puj. And he arrived together with Sachinanda Maharaj, and then I was standing there in front of the temple, like always, greeting the guests. And then Guru Maharaj came, and he looked at Sachinanda Maharaj. He tapped on my shoulders, and he looked to Sachinanda Maharaj. He was our cook at the conference. And then I felt like my life is perfect. Because, I was recognized by my spiritual master. I did an important service, and he was pleased. I managed somehow to please my Guru. So I felt my life is perfect. And that's a secret for success, also to please the spiritual master. And this is what we should try to aim, and somehow or other, perform some service and make sure that we can please the spiritual master. And that will actually deepen the relationship a lot. If we and our Damodar Prasad Prabhu is very fortunate, because Prabhu searched for almost a year his spiritual master personally, as personal servant, in offering so many different services. And that, it connects, it makes a very deep relationship to the spiritual master. But that's needed, it's wanted, it's required, that we develop a deep relationship to the spiritual master. And of course, if we don't have the chance to personally serve him, we can serve by following his instruction, listening his lectures. That is also a way to develop a deep relationship. But we need to develop that attachment, as we just recited before. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. We recite every morning. So by developing such attachment, then simultaneously we also developed, because Guru Bhakti and Krishna Bhakti, that goes together. If we develop Guru Bhakti, then it also will increase our devotion to Krishna. It's only a matter of time that also, by the mercy of Guru, we also come closer to Krishna. And then at the time of death, if you remember Guru and Krishna, then we'll be successful in our life. And once Prabhupada spoke about this principle, and one disciple was asking, Prabhupada, what happens if I'm not able to remember Krishna, but if I remember you, what happened then? And Prabhupada was thinking for a moment. That's also good. That's all right, also. Prabhupada said, that's all right. Because thinking of the Guru, because the Guru is a representative of Krishna, and by remembering Guru, we also get that benefit. Then Guru will actually take us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is what we are meant to do, and Puranjana shows the example how to not do it, by being overly attached to his wife, to his family. So that we should avoid. We should try to develop our relationship with Guru and Krishna, and at the time of death we can get perfection. Hare Krishna. Time is already over, but any comments or questions? Quickly? Yes.
Thank you for the wonderful lecture. I liked the pictures you gave with the road.
Uh-huh.
Very positive. My question is what to do desire of our Guru. Somehow or other we come in a situation where we cannot do what he says, and then maybe later again.
What can we do if we are not able to follow Guru's instruction or not able to fulfill? Well, we might delay the instruction of Guru, but we should always try to fulfill it. Like Srila Prabhupada got the instruction very early, 1922. You should preach. Only 40 years later, Prabhupada actually did it. So you might delay the instruction because of circumstances, but you should always endeavor to fulfill the instructions. That's one way to look at it. And of course, if the Guru gives an instruction we feel that we are not able to fulfill or to do, then we should talk to Guru and see whether Guru will be merciful. He might give us another instruction that's more easy for us to do. But of course, ideal first class is to just follow the instruction, and second class is to maybe ask for a different instruction if that's not possible. But yeah, we should try to fulfill. Because usually when Guru gives an instruction, he knows. And also with the instruction also comes empowerment to follow and to do it. Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna.
What's the process of finding a Guru Maharaj?
What is the process? Very good question. What's the process to follow? There would be different ways to answer the question. But the most important thing is that the original Guru is called Chaitya Guru. And Chaitya Guru means the Guru within the heart. The original Guru is Paramatma, that's already there. And Paramatma sees your feelings, your emotion, your thoughts. And that's why it's important to pray. If you pray in your heart, Krishna, please, I want to come close to you. Please send me your representative. If that prayer is strong enough, then actually that Paramatma will assume a form outside and appear as the Guru. And you will recognize him as your Guru. So that sincere prayer is the most important. Because if that sincere prayer is not there, then there is a danger that not Krishna will send a Guru, but Maya can also send a Guru. So we should be sincere, and then according to our sincerity, then Guru will manifest outside. And of course, beside of that, that's the most important. And of course, we can associate with devotees, we can visit temples, we can check YouTube and listen to different lectures of different gurus and familiarize us with which gurus are there. But the most important is always that prayer mood. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Daivo Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatruvascha Vripasinabhivcha Patitanam Pagnibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha.
Oh, Krishna, we've done it. Another morning program down. Oh.
in the ashram, is it clean or is it unclean? It's something that I would like to, yeah, I was thinking of maybe it's to wash down the things in the just ashes. It's like I want just to wash and put it out after some washing and have to feel it outside. Is it all of the message in the room? Wait a second. There isn't anything else as normal. You can have a look, but I think it's every day.
Krishna Krishna.